Bonjour.
Oh, my mic is turned up to the max. Let's turn that down a little bit, shall we? How's that? Is that better? That's better. That's better. How are we doing? Sorry, I just shouted at you. What's up, Sushi? Marie's here as well. Milo's here. How are you beautiful people today? You're having a wonderful How are we all? I just realised I've not updated that box with the latest image. Oh, it's really low now. Well, it's really quiet. Oh, hang on, it's not in the right position either. That's a bit better. I'm usually talking straight at you here. Right, let me show you what I have planned for today. What's up, Dobby? Good to see you. Kim's here as well. How we doing? Dobby, this is obviously the first time we've met in a while. Is there anything you'd like to say? Any sort of sorry? Oh wait, the music is too loud. This is what you're here for. Right, let's turn this down. How is this? Is that better? Are we doing good? Have I fixed it? What's up, Julie? Am I quiet? Right, tell me now. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. I fixed it. I think I fixed it. So taco medics? Thumbs down, what, still? No. I can see the volume levels here and it's completely off. Like it's in there. Oh, sheesh. Let's have a look what's going on there. Okay, my mic is maxed out right now. Is my mic different? That's a good question. No, it's not. Why is it not working? Are you winding me up? Oh wait, we're better now. We good? Wait. Jesus. Have I fixed it? Have I fixed this? What did... Wait, hang on. I can see this mic here is working. This mic here is buggered. Right, stop. We good? That's better, innit? I fixed it. Arguably, I'm too loud. I can see it going into the red. Are we good? Jesus Christ. Is that it? Is it too loud? Am I too loud? Is the music too low? We're good. We're good. Jesus Christ. Sorry, this is the first time I've done this. It's just all so new to me. Wicked. You don't hear any music. You're not complaining. Okay, the music should be on. What about now? That's usually where I leave it normally. If anything, I should be too loud now. How we all do. What a terrific start. You don't get this sort of stuff on the news, do you? They'll be like, Jesus, our mics are all off. Do a little rehearsal next time. Right. What I know I need to do. So what I was going to get at is I want today to be kind of like a sort of a guide through a process that I've now taken on board and understanding like how to go about building a scene and stuff, like a landscape scene, but a different way of doing it that is just slightly different to how I normally do it. And so Dobby, thank you for the super chat asking me to hire a sound engineer. Dobby, I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. And we're not getting any alerts now. The alert's knackered as well. There you are. You're on the screen. You are on the screen now. Right. So going about. This has been a. Where's my censor button? Absolute show. I've missed all of you. But Dobby, it has been a while. It's good to see you back. Right, so what I was saying is how to build up a landscape. So in a slightly different process to mine and in a slightly longer process. One thing I want to start sort of conveying in a lot of my tutorials, and you would have maybe you'll see it in Friday's tutorial, but maybe the mountain one that just came and went. I want people to understand that, like, it was kind of the inspiration behind my post the other day about, I was talking about how long videos take to make and stuff. I don't want people to think that, if you don't follow this tutorial in the order it is, that you're doing it wrong. I want people to know you can go back and at any point refine and continue, right? Go back, and if you don't like the shapes now you've got to this stage, you can go back and make changes. And if you don't like it at all, make changes and redo it. I want people to understand that you can go backwards and forwards, and just because you see my video go from A through to B through to C through to D, that's not how it works. Either I go back and undo it and cut that whole thing out, or I've started to get into sort of the habit a little bit more of going, do you know what, I'm actually just going to address it here in the image, like just do it in the tutorial. I started at the very end of tutorials at the minute going, here are the things I want to change, here are things that I should adjust. So I'm trying to make sure, start to convey that a little bit. Now, one thing I want to try and sort of show you is, hang on, it's okay, Dobby saying it's okay for me to say I missed her the most. Julie won't mind. Julie's never here anyway. She clocks out 10 minutes after I go live, and that's it. I'm just saying. And now I've frozen, and I look like that. Oh, brilliant. We're back. So, let me flick you around. Let's go to the live screen. What's up, Jay? How you doing? So, what I want to do is show you the process that I've learned and how I may start to implement this in my tutorials going forward. So we start off with grayscale. Am I knackered? I'm actually alright today. I'm buzzing. Not buzzing, but I'm good. Is that a new word that you learned from me? Knackered. But didn't I say that at the end of the stream once? I said, I'm knackered, I'm going to go get some kit. And everybody's like, what are you on about? Let's just ban that account real quick. Block. Something I actually wanted to do. Buggered. Cream crackered. That's another one. I'm absolutely cream crackered. Hang on. I'm just trying to. Bollocks is a good one. Seconds, guys. I am currently 2 seconds. I'm just gonna. Can you guys hit the like button down below for me, just before we carry on? Just hit the like button for us. That'd be magic if you could do that for me. I'm trying to very quickly find. Moderation. This sort of thing. They've got a bit of a rounded edge on them, but we work on the main focal point first and just build up the process from there. So you should start off with a horizon line. It will make sense, Jay, in a second when I sort of show you the sort of once I've finished sort of step one, which is just simply setting out a very basic landscape. That's all we want to do, like very basic, and we will go in and refine stuff as we go. So maybe I'll set like a horizontal line across here, which can be my horizon line, so everything's pointing in towards here. And then from here, we create some buildings. So, well, not buildings, some formations, rocky formations. So maybe it runs all the way off the top of the screen. Okay, and then we create more of a scene. Like so, let that run off here. Oh, I've done it all on the same layer, so don't do that bit. Let's just get rid of that. Go backwards. We get rid of that bit. Let's start that again. So we go to a new layer, guys, and then we start drawing. We draw a straight line across, horizon line, and then we start drawing in our shapes. So I don't want to do too much on the horizon line. I want to let this, we'll just maybe run out a little bit here. And you can see how sort of very basic the shapes are right now. So one main focal point smack bang in the middle. it is. Actually, we could keep it off to the center. It doesn't necessarily. Should we move it? Should we not? Maybe a little bit more centered, and kick this off the edge here. So, okay, so that's your main focal point. That's the main area that we want to draw our user's attention to. And then it's a matter of maybe working backwards. So we grab a new layer and put it in behind, obviously, and then grab the next color. So we've only got 2 more to work with, bearing in mind the light gray is the actual background color. And then we start to go back here, and we don't create shapes that are too detailed, but you want to create some sort of landscape. Now, this is obviously quite an angular shape already, so maybe I'll go ahead and do exactly the same kind of thing, but not quite as big. We want the perspective of that one to be, you know, kind of similar. Well, a lot closer to the camera anyway, so make it a bit bigger. That's looking a bit too wide in comparison, so maybe we just bring that narrower, maybe even rotate it a little bit. Now, again, we just create the shapes first, and we go back in and refine later on. That's looking pretty good, actually. Maybe we add another one here. Just a very sort of small one, close to the edge. And actually, looking at that, this little one here should be on the same tier as this one. I'm going to jump back to this shape here. Although it's our main focal point, we can add stuff onto the shapes layer. So something like this, maybe. That will run into there. Again, just leave the basics first. See how we like it. Do we actually create another formation here? Let that run into there, maybe. That's fine for a second. And then we need to go right to the very back and create some very basic mountains or landscapes. So these ones don't really get like sort of much attention back there. What colour have I moved on to? Yeah. So these ones won't get too much attention. They would literally be just like very rocky formations. Go all the way around. Link that up. See what brushes we can switch into, maybe. This one I've got a really angular brush for, so this one could be quite nice.
All right, let's bring that beat back.
Back there, just going to try and make this a little bit more choppy and bumpy. These are brushes I've made, so these ones are just like sort of angular versions of ovals. Just made into a set of brushes. Maybe I'll share them at some point, but at the minute they'll probably be saved for a Procreate tutorial at some a Patreon tutorial at some point. We then go ahead and we leave the background sort of down here, the groundwork as it is. We'll continue using this color, sort of our mid-ground color, and you quite literally just create some shapes in here. So like, what sort of landscape do we want to create? Sometimes it's maybe a little bit easier to move straight to your foreground, but you can start to just maybe create lines and angle the user's attention into the center. That's what I find looks quite nice. Though it doesn't look like much right now, we are, like I said, at the very beginning of the process, building that process up from zero, planning out our landscape, just literally just chopping away into these, creating nice streaks in the ground. You can see there straight away as I've started to chop into that, we're already creating some groundwork that's just sort of pushing it into the center. To be honest, Jay, they're not the most fanciest of brushes, I won't lie. They're just oval brushes, like that's it really, but I find that they're quite nice for making these types of effects, or this sort of style. Especially with like the certain angles of some of the brushes, you can you can really start to sort of create really beautiful shapes out of them. Maybe some more rounded, some more angular, and a little bit more of everything like that. So that's looking a little bit skinny in terms of these areas here. So I'd maybe just actually go back in now and try and fill out some of this groundwork. You know, just like little bumps and hills and stuff, or just a little bit of the terrain really. Again, doesn't look like much, but we're planning. What's up, Claire? How are you? Yeah, finally allowed to stay. You literally just missed it. Julie was like, I was so ready to kick her, and I was like, no, come on, she's watched the film. And Julie said, no, come on, let's just get rid of her. I said, she's watched the films though. You can rewind if you don't believe me. With this style, I also feel like you got to be very bold with adding little shapes here and there, and like maybe not cutting away at it too much, and just letting them be basically. Now, I guess it depends on how I want this sort of landscape to be. Do I want it to be ground here, or do I want it to be water? True story. Is Dobby still here? Save me opening that all up. Anyway, then we'll go to a new layer, grab our colors, and then grab our foreground. And then from here, we just go ahead and create some groundwork right at the beginning. You got it, boo. Okay, cool. Magic, thank you. So maybe like some sort of groundwork here in our scene. Elements that sit right in front of our camera, and you can use them to constantly guide your user's eye into the center, and force their view where you want them to look. So trying to keep people nice and focused in the center. So once you've sort of done your basic plan, you can already see sort of where mine is, and then by doing it in sort of black and gray, you're not getting distracted by any sort of like your color schemes, or you're not overthinking, you're not looking, how can I explain this? Sorry. By keeping it simple, you're fixing the fundamentals of the design first before you get into then coloring. So you should kind of like break it down into a few different steps, you know, your basic landscape plan, then where is it going in terms of colors, and then at each step, stop, refine it, and can then move on as you need to. So like, what I will change here, this mountain now here needs to be changed. I want to add in some more angular shapes on here. So maybe just drop that down a little bit. You can chop into your shapes if you need to. What's this one? Chopping away into shapes is actually super effective. You get rid of so much of the sort of rounded look and let the eraser do the work. Should we try and do exactly that in a second? Don't get me wrong, you still want sort of some rounded edges, but little peaks and stuff is it might be going out in terms of my camera, only because it just continues to drop in and out. Good boy. Oh, Clay, you pinched a nerve in your neck. I did that during the week. Stretching it out all week. It's a nightmare. So like all of this here, it either needs to like be more angular or have more shapes into it, or just be a lot sharper, I feel. Potentially here as well, you know, we can make it a bit steeper, making it look like it goes a bit higher, like way up and out of our mean, you can even actually make that a bit steep, like sharp steep. Create a peak. Now, peaks are so important. I think I've said this in a few different tutorials for what you can bounce light off of when we get to the lighting stage of things. So the more peaks you can try and learn to sort of incorporate, the better. It'll make your life a lot easier, and you've got more to work with when it comes to your highlights and shadows. Is it continuing to be bad? Should be all right now, I think, looking at that. So you refine the one in front a lot more than the others because, you know, it's the closest to you. It's going to have the most detail, other than obviously the foreground work. Don't like this, it's too repetitive. That's nice. I'm going to go backwards a step. I'm going to change this one up. How do you set on the light source and what type of colors? So the light source is an interesting one. So in a lot of my tutorials, I put the actual light source in the tutorial. In terms of it's a moon or it's a sun, you know, it's something that's visual on the page that you can see. So with this style, you have to interpret it how you want it. And I'm going to show you a few different variations on how you can adjust the light source. But the light source is off screen. It's out of the way. It's not something we can visually see that, oh yeah, it's a moon. That's what's causing that light source. That has its problems, because you have to also then try and, you know, work out what it is you want to try and achieve. And it can be a bit tricky if you don't, you know, having an object on the screen is a lot easier because you can just say, well, it's there. And so, you know, left-hand side, right-hand side of set object would be dark and one side would be light, sort of thing. Okay, they're looking a lot better, a lot better. We're going to introduce some. Oh, sorry, actually, there was another question I know I missed. What was it? And what type of colors? I guess the colors depend. So this is obviously actually Tellarlight. This is something else that I learned. The colors should be determined by the shapes you create. If you create a design that's got primarily sort of more rounded shapes, I would maybe use lighter colors, you know, something more like daytime, just a bit softer because the design's soft. And then if you choose to create something very angular like this, you may want to maybe think about grabbing some really dark colors, something, you know, a bit of your darker grays or dark blues or something like that, or, you know, get into like sort of almost like a cave scene, maybe, you know, very dark with like reds and stuff. Something like that. This one is quite sharp and angular. We could get away with maybe putting tiny bits of snow on. I've not done snow yet, so maybe I'll do it now. I don't know. It'll be a test. But we shall see. Now I'm actually going to go back to this layer again, and I want to simplify it. I want to simplify it a little bit more. Let's let that run in behind there. It doesn't matter where it comes out on the other side. That's fine. That's fine. Cool. We're going to go ahead and add in some extra little elements down here on the ground. So I'm going to create a new layer for that. We're going to create some more sort of rocky style pillars maybe. So for this, I'm going to turn off the groundwork for a minute. Actually, you know what? We'll go straight to the foreground color for those instead. So move that up. So like here, we'll start to create some sort of other rocky shapes that are on our landscape. Link them up. Start off with something basic maybe. refine them all in a second. We'll put something back here as well, making sure we create different shapes every time. Now this should help us in a second sort of work out our sizes of all the different items. You know, if these are small and we had somebody say stood here very, very small, this will give this a huge amount of perspective. You'll get an idea for how grand the landscape is in the background. I was at the gym watching Marie's stream. I saw it pop up on my phone. I thought I'll drop in and say hello. And Elizabeth says, hello from Phoenix, Arizona. I am a beginner and is there content for someone like me if I were to support you on Patreon? There absolutely is, Elizabeth. There are lots of tutorials that vary in different... I'll put a caveat on this though. There are a lot of tutorials that vary in terms of your anticipated... what you would anticipate the skill level being. I try to make my tutorials vary from like a simplistic design all the way through to say the latest one that came out yesterday, Elizabeth. And so, but every tutorial follows the same methods where, I'll give you an example, Elizabeth. A lot of the time on stream, I will create a design. Everybody shouts at me in the stream and wants it as a tutorial. But the problem is sometimes I don't do every single one, believe it or not. So there's a few that don't make it, because if I can't make the process simplistic and super easy for everybody to understand, then I won't do it. If the tutorial has too many steps, or it's not, it's like I'm doing things without, like in my mind, I might be on, say, autopilot doing them. But if I can't translate that into steps, I won't do it. But yeah, there's a lot of varying different styles. You can see all the styles sort of underneath. Where am I? Yeah. Wait a minute. There. A lot of designs like this one here with the hand. This one has a... you can download a template that comes with it. So the hand is already drawn. So in some tutorials, I provide a lot of assets that you can get. Like this one here on the left hand side now, there's a stencil for that, so you don't just have to draw that freehand. This one here is freehand because the main focus is the sky. This one here is freehand as well, but I do try and break down the process as much as possible. This Patronus one that's beside me now, that was used in a reference image. So my tutorials sometimes can be a little bit longer on Patreon. But that's because on Patreon, I try not to limit myself to the algorithm. You know, I can make videos as long or as short as they want to be. And so if I want to make a design that's a bit more complex and make it last a bit longer, I have no problem with doing that. But yeah, I try to change it up. But at the same time, I was actually explaining this to a friend earlier. Tracy, you all know Tracy, one of our fellow patrons. She left me a really lovely comment, as well as Funky Tea Creations on Instagram. Both of them left me 2 lovely compliments for the tutorial. They both saw the tutorial and said that they were anxious of doing it. And Tracy said that she, I think she said basically exactly the same thing. She was really anxious of doing it. She looked at it, but I was really pleased that the extra steps there in the tutorial helped her get from, well, not her, helped everybody get from A to B, and that just straight away, just a few people completing it gave me the compliment straight away to say, you know, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do this, but your tutorial helped me a lot. So I was very, very pleased with that. And it's something I'm going to bear in mind that I can do in the future to make other tutorials where I also want, I'm constantly trying to better my skills, you know, something like this, for example, or just get better. But I know I want to bring everybody with me. I don't want to just draw this in my free time. I want to bring everybody with me. I want to create really cool designs together. And so I know each month I've got to create a few tutorials that are of my typical sort of bearings, and then create some new tutorials every month that just push the boat, just get us pushing a little bit, get us going a little bit until we continue to, you know, get better at our skills all the time, and to make sure I'm testing you guys at the same time without you shouting at me too much. So hopefully that's a very long-winded explanation, Elizabeth. I'm sorry, but I appreciate your comment, and yeah, come and take a look. There is a link in. I'm not sure if Dobby can. I know Dobby is here. It's Joel Create. If you go to joelcreate.co.uk and go to, it's joelcreate.co.uk/my-patron. Sorry. So joelcreate.co.uk/my-patreon. There's a full page there that shows you all the designs. So if you want to take a butcher's at that, that will let you know if it's something that you feel comfortable with. I shall not be disappointed otherwise. I don't know if Dobby can find that link and chuck it in the chat, but yeah, that's always a little page that I set up so that people can see. It doesn't have the latest one on that I completed, that I did the other day. No, that I did yesterday. And I have missed a few people. I have missed the wonderful CC is here as well. Did I miss anybody else in the chat? I did not. I did not. Oh, laughing is good. Laughing is good for you. Sorry. I apologise. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all the nice comments. No, not that. It's joelcreate.co.uk. Do you want to find it? joelcreate.co.uk. And then at the top it will say my Patreon. That's the one. That's the link to my Patreon. And then there's the Joel Create webpage as well, so you can see all the designs. Now, I'm actually going to be really annoying to myself that I'm going to go ahead and grab the selection tool and grab this middle column. It's not grand enough, it's not big enough, and doesn't sort of show off how big this landscape is. This needs to be huge. Whoa, that's kind of cool, isn't it? Like a gap, some sort of like a... I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to fill it in properly. That's something I'd need to practice even further, but that's very cool. Thank you, Dobby, for posting that in the chat. Appreciate you. That's better. Look how grand that looks. That right in the middle. That's the one. And let me just read. Thanks, guys. You're too kind. You're too kind, you lot. I didn't like the lot at the end. It didn't. Start that again. Start that again. Hang on. Start that again. Start that again. You're too kind, you lot. You lot. You're too kind. I'll do. It's nice to know you're not getting bored with the content, because I do try to sort of balance it in my mind. It's like, have we repeated this too many times? You know, I even feel like the tutorial that's going live on Friday, I mean, I drew it ages ago, but I do feel like, you know, there's a certain set of brushes that are used in it, and I'm kind of like, oh, I mean, are we really milking this one out too much? Sort of thing. Oh, Jesus, get them up. I do have a couple of colours that I've got in a palette. I mean, I could use any palette really. We could try this one. Excuse me. So once you've got your shapes, the best thing to do is then group them together, and then just duplicate the group and turn one off. Just go back to it if you need to at any point. And then just start colouring in. So working out your colours from closest to furthest, getting your darker colours at the front. So if I start sort of in my mid-ground, I can get an idea for those sort of colours. So I've got some colours here. Yeah, that's the one, and this one here as well. Fill that in too. Let's go to the background colour. Let's drop in this blue. Now, I'm not sure these colours are going to work. We'll have to see what they look like at the end. And as I mentioned at the intro, I want people to be comfortable with changing colours very quick. Or not changing colours, just making refinements as you go. There is absolutely no problem with changing anything. Okay, that's not too bad. Too bad. Let's grab these colours at the front. So looking at the basics of that, doesn't look too bad. Now the colours are coming through a little bit different on your screen, so I apologise for that. Oh, sorry, I actually missed laughing is good for you saying I just joined your Patreon and I love it. Thank you for sharing. What's your name over on Patreon? Laughing is good, if you don't mind me asking. But thank you for joining. I appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying it, which you said you are. So there we go. I love the dust brush, the best. So if that's one, I'm all for it. Claire. Elizabeth, Discord is like when you can create, don't let the terminology throw you off, but you can create a server. But all it is basically a community. Just creating a community, and people can go over there, and I guess kind of like a Facebook group in a way as well. You can chat in separate threads of things. You can drop all your designs in there and get some feedback from people if you want it, or just simply drop your designs in, and I'm sure everybody will be happy to see those. But we have such a good community over there. We don't tolerate any negativity, and we only ask that you give criticism only when asked, if somebody actually wants it. Otherwise, you can share your designs in a comfortable space. Okay, a couple of things I want to try and adjust. This background, maybe drop it slightly, but also let's try and distort it and drag this end down, so we're kind of pointing down towards this corner. And I'm going to do the same with the mountains in front. So grab that, grab the distort tool, push that down a little bit. I know I've got to cut away a little bit. Now I have not but used this palette in any way, so if it doesn't look right, we'll have to make adjustments. It's more the process I wanted to show. Now we've got some nice movement down into there. We can have a bit of space for some sky. Let's go ahead and do exactly that. So let's drop in some sky color here. Yellow here. Airbrushing, soft brush. Now I have had thoughts about what to do next month on Patreon. I'm half tempted to do something like this, maybe not next month, but coming up soon, where I am not going to put any restriction on it whatsoever. I'm not going to try and think about, oh, it's been an hour. I'm just going to draw and see what we come up with. It's something I may end up doing in the future. Okay, So we've got our background color in. Then what the trick to do is grab this color and then create clipping masks for these layers first of all, and just do a nice little wash in here of that color. See how that comes out. That's looking good. But before we get to that stage, we actually need to do some very basic highlights and work out where our lighting's coming from. Now, this is going to be very dependent on the brush I use. Now, I'm going to, for the sake of this design, I will not use this in a future design. This is from the course I ended up actually doing. I'm going to use the brush that's in here because it's a brilliant, brilliant brush. But this will not be something I can share, and I won't. We are going to try and gauge that our light source is maybe over here, and we'll make some adjustments to the landscape afterwards when we're done. So let's just create some very basic highlights. So where are they coming from on this edge? Let's create some shapes. It's going to be quite vertical shapes. It's quite a tall figure. And you can block in. Now, this is one thing I really want to try and explain to people soon. In all my tutorials coming up, is blocking in the color to start with. I want to try and sort of replicate the same process of adding a block of color and refining. Adding a block of color, erasing parts, maybe adding more color again, erasing parts, adding color, and just repeat the process. Like, I'm never going to draw that on there perfect every time, never. But with that process, you can really create a really beautiful design where we add in a lot of color, and you create big blocks now here where you've got to imagine the surface of this. You've got in your mind come up with a surface, and sometimes just literally dropping some color on can actually help you just block that in and create the landscape. Do we run it down here a little bit? Run that into there. Brave with adding the color on for a minute. Create these beautiful sloping lines, but you can already see sort of where the highlights are coming into play, where the edge of the lighting is. Now, I'm doing it obviously from the right hand side. I've got to be a bit bold here with where does this now. Simply just adding in this like little bit of highlight here, I've pushed this mountain in front of this one, or this hillside, whatever you want to refer to it as. So you can create depth just with your highlights. So Goon says, I have to ask, how good is the paperlike screen cover? Does it damage the pen tip? I've had this singular pen tip, my good friend, since I bought my iPad, since I bought my pen. I've had a paperlike screen cover on now for a year. It's beautiful. I love it. Mine, you get 2 in the pack, mind. So I think I'm definitely overdue swapping it round to the other one. I love it. I love it. I've explained before, there's a couple of things to bear in mind with it. I personally use my iPad for a lot of things. I use my iPad for drawing. I use my iPad for consuming video, like YouTube and stuff. It will change your screen slightly. So because of the texture on top, you can see like sort of, obviously a pixel on your screen is made up of 3 different colors. It kind of creates almost like a expanded pixel on your screen. So when you look at it very closely, it looks maybe like you've just had a bit of oil on your finger and it's got on the screen, maybe just a tiny bit. But once you get used to it, you look straight through it. And now I would never be without one. And Claire says, how do you use my code for Paperlike? It's not a code on Paperlike, but there's a link in the description of this video, in every video. And it's just a little affiliate link. I just get a little bit of a kickback if you purchase one with my link. Likewise, the Pen.Tips grip and glove. Goon, if you're somebody who watches a lot of video content on your iPad, potentially use the Pen.Tips instead. I've got them here in my drawer. I think I do. No, I'm trying to find the Pen.Tips for our friend. you can use the Pen.Tips instead. So I've got the Pen.Tips here. So you get 5 in a packet. There's a black one in the bottom right of that. I've not lost one. And so you can just pop them on and off of your pen, and they literally just go straight in and just stick straight to the top of your pen. Protects your screen, protects your pen tip as well. And I always advise, I would say, to use one or the other. I love both companies. I think they're brilliant. I love the Pen.Tips grip and glove. Always use it. But my preference is the paperlike screen cover, only because it's already on. I think maybe if I took my paperlike off and then maybe had a chance to just use the Pen.Tips, I'd have a very fair sort of point for analysis, I guess, on the two. So yeah, that's what all I would advise. It's just what do you use your iPad for? So more video, then maybe bear in mind the Pen.Tips as an option. And Dobby, I appreciate you again popping the link in there for Claire. Maybe there's a little bit of lighting, and again, I can make this landscape up again. Maybe this mountain, this part of the hillside is actually in front again, so it's really staggering backwards, which means if I make that move, do you know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of Harry Potter when he's like, it's Ron and Harry in the first one, and Ron's like, once I make my move, you're free to kill the king, or something like that. I see it on TikTok all the time. You probably think I'm nuts. But yeah, once you make that sort of adjustment, look at that now. I've got one peak here. I've got another little peak here. And again, we're using those peaks to create a really beautiful, beautiful landscape. And maybe again, I try up here. What can we get away with? Can we fill this peak in a little bit? Can we get bold with the color? It's come out quite nice. There's and a huge, much bigger community around Photoshop than there is Procreate, that would mean that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of different brushes out there, all free. If we can get them into Procreate, you've got a beautiful set. This brush that I'm using is not a Procreate brush set. It's not. It's a completely different brush set. And I downloaded another one early just to retest that, and I just grabbed 20 different painting brushes. Mental. Yeah, see? I knew I wasn't the only one that didn't know that. And if I was probably just going to delete the channel and start again. But, yeah. That is news to me and knowledge I will happily pass on to you beautiful people. So we've got a peak here. You've got to erase behind your peaks just to create depth. This doesn't look right. And it still doesn't look right. I think this is actually got to sit in front. I think I'm going to try and define that a little bit more with a solid shape there. So if you go off now and you're thinking and you're curious about getting some new brushes, you find any beautiful brushes, you let me know over on the Discord. Drop them in there. Love to see them, and we can work out what we can maybe use in a future tutorial. So I'll be very sort of, just to clarify, the brush that I started to use, and write this down. I hope you've got your pens and your pencils ready. You need a. I downloaded and successfully installed an A. 2 seconds. I'm not even ready. An A, B for Brian, R brush set. So .abr, and if you search for those, there is loads. So you're welcome. And see, look, you're all having a gander now, ain't you? Hey, don't go leaving the live stream. Hey! Whoa! Everybody, just hold your horses. You stay here, and then you go. When I go, you can go. Or open up another tab. Okay. ABR, that's the one. Marie, that's the one indeed. Okay. Let's get rid of some of this down here. So I actually spent far too long on this particular step, but we were nattering about all sorts. Okay, that's looking really cool. Really cool. How long is the stream tonight? I'm probably midnight at least, I guess. I've noticed lately it dies off a little bit towards the end of my stream in terms of like the last hour, so I hope it doesn't. But if it does, maybe I'll wrap it up a bit earlier than that. I'm not sure. Well, you're asking so you can leave. You want to be excused. Is that what you're saying? Okay, so far that looks cool. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to the shapes in behind and do the same process. I've got a... What colour is this? This colour here, which is not the same as this one here, is it? Oh, it is. And that needs to go back there. Yeah, that's perfect. As I mentioned at the beginning, you want to make sure your brushes are your I can't even grab my... Start again. You want to make sure your scene is getting lighter towards the back, and You want to make sure it's darker at the front. So those mountains now got a lot lighter in the background. Now I'm not done with these colours yet. It's just a little bit of colour in there at the minute. So let's have a look. Okay, let me catch up with you beautiful people. Dobby, basically I sent everybody off to go find some brushes for, and that's it. Stream's pretty much over. Julie said, I need to pop out at 10 for about 45 minutes. So check in, he would still be here when I get back. Guys, do we time Julie? Like we give her 45 minutes and no more. Like that's it. Or does she get a little bit of leeway? And Milo says, with that news, I need to buy a new iPad. What, for more storage? Jay, the time for me is 9:45. Where are you, Jay? Where are you based? For me, it's quarter to 10. A little tip that I've noticed as well is you can just desaturate your colours if you're going to start working backwards. Now, actually, I've actually got some really beautiful colours here. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and change this front section here to the really bright orange. Now, this is probably going to look a bit crazy for a minute. It is a bit crazy, but it's dramatic. We'll come back. We'll change it in a minute. Let's see what we're working with back here. Let's do the same. Let's brush in some nice big sections of highlight. That's nice. That's quite cool. Essentially, as you're getting further back, we don't really care anymore. Like literally, as you get right to the back, we don't care about any of them. Like we want them to be a lot lighter, a lot less detail in them. This is the colouring step. So after this, we move into a different step of atmosphere. So Kay's here. How you doing? Kay, you're Funky T, aren't you? Just to triple check, I've not got another K in the chat. Let me catch up. Julie is meeting up with her other secret online creator boyfriend. Who the is that? Huh? Who the are you meeting other than me? What a load of absolute... I messed that last one up. Oh, Claire voted, by the way. You've only got 45 minutes. That's it. Jason, is that California, CA? I think so. Is Kay. Kay, I was actually mentioning earlier on about your lovely comment. Would have been yesterday now. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was. About how you enjoyed the tutorial over on Patreon and how you found it nice and easy with the overlays and stuff, which I was saying was very nice to hear and worth the extra effort that I put into the tutorial, because it's great to... I want to push people's skills. I was saying, I'll summarize it. I want to push people's skills a little bit, also give you guys sort of the same sort of style that I have, but try and, you know, push the boat out a little bit each month. And I don't want it to be daunting. I want it to be nice and easy. So I appreciate the compliments. And it came out, I mean, as I said, it was awesome. Awesome. You nailed it. Jealousy suits you, sweetheart. Mountain colour pops. Yeah, I changed it. So switched it up, made it a bit brighter. I'm not happy with the colour just yet, though, but we'll see what happens. The mountains in the background. Do we do anything with them? I've been told not to, so I'm not going to. what else do we need to do? We need to do these little ones down here. So we're going to go ahead and do them as well. These are much tinier shapes, so we don't want to, we've got to block it in quite bold. Do that right hand side more than anything. Lovely. And again, I want you guys to sort of start to realize I'm blocking in the color, but I will go back in a second and start to erase a lot of stuff. Get rid of color when necessary. It's coming along quite well, isn't it? I'm quite pleased with that. Is Julie doing YouTube? Doing a YouTuber by the sounds of it. It's like my mics are fighting. Really? Oh, hang on. What? What do you mean fighting? My actual mic or not? Is there a problem? Have I done something wrong? Julie says, not yet, Joel. Still waiting on your address for that. I know I'm not doing YouTube. I set that PO box up so people can start shipping the old Red Bulls over. Creating these little erasing sections. I can't really talk tonight very well, so I do apologise. I think are really powerful. They make these shapes super defined. I just love this style, and while I've got a lot of you here that are patrons, don't, for the love of God, do not scream tutorials. I'll ban everyone. I'll ban the lot of you. You get a week's detention. But would relax, just relax. Everybody sit down. Everybody calm the F down. Would you want to see this as a tutorial style in the future? Just relax, relax, just relax. Say it calmly, people. I'm listening. I've listened. People have spoken. Okay, cool. The groundwork needs some colour in the same section. The ground is something I'm not actually sure what I'm doing on, actually. Is it water? Are these little bits of something sticking out of the water? Or is it ground? I think I'd rather it be ground. Meaning we need some sort of colour on the ground. So I'm thinking like... That's usable. I can work it out. Where's this though? Okay, cool. The only thing I need to try and do is, before I can even do a tutorial like this, I need to replace this particular brush from this person's set, because it's not free and I can't use it anyway. Right, anyway, start. Oh, hang on. Julie's left 6 minutes early. 6 minutes early. Do we start the 45 minutes from now? Or do we let her have 45 plus 6? She's jump start the timer. Start the timer. Start it. See, that's not right either. This is the only tricky situation. This is the only one that's a bit funny to do right now. I want to give this atmosphere at the same time, so... Okay, first of all, let's go to this colour. Let's try and adjust this colour. Let's try and get a desaturated version of it, maybe a little bit lighter. Let's fill that layer in. That's quite nice. And fill that layer in again. That gives us some nice striking, but it's not striking enough now, is it? Hang on. That will work out because we just make this a smidge lighter instead. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Let's go to the ground layer. Beautiful. Beautiful. No, I like that darker. I like it as it was. That's fine. We'll make some adjustments to that shortly. This land here, right at the front, all you do for this one is make a slightly desaturated version of the same color and just add in some very, very light highlights. Excuse me, I apologize. Give her the 6. All right, we'll let her have the 6 minutes. We'll let her have the 6 minutes. If she ain't like the video though, she ain't coming back. Who's still here in the chat? Can you say hello if you're here? Even if you're just chilling watching, not involved in the chat just too much. I'm just curious who's in the chat today. Make this front area a little bit darker again. That's better. Way better. Obviously we've got Claire J. K, JK. Milo. We know we've got Marie as well. We're on the thumbnail. Elizabeth's still here. That's awesome to see. And Elizabeth, I can see you were also a YouTube member as well. So I appreciate your support over there on YouTube. You get that little badge beside your name, and you can see Marie just above you. She's got a green J on the end, which I believe is the 3-month tier. So I think we should slowly start to be getting around to people becoming like bronze and silver and stuff soon. I think it has been going that long. So the longer you're a supporter on YouTube, you get that little badge, and you also get some extra emojis and stuff that you can see and use. Yeah, it's alright, Dobby. You carry on, pal. You carry on. Let's just check the old memberships. Let's see where everybody is. Let's see your memberships. Oh, Mark. Mark Bumford, one of our patrons. No, sorry, not. Yeah, one of our patrons. He is the first person to get the bronze. I can just see he's ticked over to 6 months. So he's the only one with the bronze. That's pretty cool. We've then got, if I flip that around in date order, Christy, who's not here, so I would imagine she is dropping the kids off to school over in New Zealand. Is the next one at 5 months. We've got Kat at 4 months, Dobby at 4 months, Marie at 2, Lillian at 2 as well, and we've got Kim. I think it's meant to be He-Man, Donna Brown, Chris Tucky, and Elizabeth, as well as the rest of our YouTube members. Mark's flying there. Okay, Joe, get some work done. Roger that. Right, let's move into the next step of moving into, say, a little bit of atmosphere. So let me just check my iPad's not about to change to night mode. It did. Night mode. Let's grab a light colour from the background and start to paint in some atmosphere. Now, you can use the clouds brush actually built into elements, clouds. So we want this brush first of all, and then we also want to go back up to soft brush, paint in some atmosphere here. So we're kind of creating sort of like fog almost in between all of our layers. That will really separate the layers from one another. And we're going to do the same at the bottom of this one here as well. Look how much that just comes to life. Like, look how much more dynamic that's become. And what you can do is, the reason I switched it out to the clouds brush was because it's the, where's it gone? Go back down to elements, not elements. Where did I have it? There it is, it's right in front of me. Clouds. We can use that as the eraser, and then we can chop into the sort of haze we've made there and break it up, make it become real. Add some more texture in there. Thank you, Claire. We can use this to break it up. That's going to add a lot more detail in there. We can go back to the other layers, break those up as well. So very quick and easy detailing in here. Go right to the very back. That's looking beautiful. Very, very pleased with that. That's looking really cool. Just adding a bit of atmosphere will change that up a little bit. I'm trying to see if there's anything else there that I want to maybe adjust. Don't think there is. What I do want to start to now do is bear in mind this ground down here, and what is it? What is it? Is it water? Is it ground? Could I make it ground? Could I make it a green? Let's start playing with some colors before we move on. So let's grab the color let's try and go to switch it to green first of all, and just simply drag that into that space. Let's just see what happens. So it's obviously way too bright. We can get rid of this for a second. Grab a green, drag it in. Do I like the green? Don't think I do. I think it's too striking. I think what we could get away with maybe... I'm just going to refer to an image that I have, that I shared on Discord. I think I shared it as one of my designs. I just want to see what I ended up doing in that. So I shared this on Discord in the Patreon section. Where did I pop it? I pop it in normal share your designs. A while ago now, by the looks of it. Let me just catch up with that. Ah, there it is. Sure. Okay, so one thing I've got to bear in mind is right now is my light source on my hills, my main building here is Jay, it only takes so long because I'm nattering, to be honest with you. You could fly through the process if you knew the steps, and if I was to put it in a tutorial, it'd be a lot quicker. But my highlights here are the entire surface of the building. The problem with that is we're not dictating where the light source is coming from. The problem with that is we don't want the whole side of that. I want just like to imagine that there's like some sort of other sort of mountain on the right hand side, and so it's only hitting the top half. So maybe we could actually go to this layer and add a mask onto it. We could go to soft airbrush and get rid of it down here. Like, so it's nice and faint, but you get the impression that sunlight is bouncing from in behind something else and onto the very top peak of that mountain. Look how much more dynamic that looks. You've changed, the lighting was done. If we imagined it was a big torch here shining down onto the design, then yeah, that whole side of that mountain would be covered, but we'd actually also have to change the color of the actual mountain as well, because there'd be so much light, it'd be super bright. So now we're trying to dictate where is the light coming from, and we're making it look as if it's just peeking over the top of the brow, maybe of a sort of the landscaping behind it, or there's something maybe in front. You can actually be super dynamic with this and literally cut through here, and you could do something like that where you literally just show the tip, and maybe you can't lower a mask, can you? So maybe you would do that again, maybe a bit lighter, so you leave a bit more of the lines, but you just literally just do the top peak. Yeah, something like that. So where did I get to? Oh no, I can't remember what I liked. I don't think it was that far. I think it was this far we got to. What canvas size is that? It looks a bit different than the usual. Yeah, for today I just made it the screen size, just so I've got a bit more horizontal landscape to play with. With a square sometimes it can be very restrictive. And then with that, these little guys down here also need to be adjusted. So maybe I just simply lower the opacity down on them quite a bit. We drop it right down to maybe say like 15%. That allows us to keep the light side of the rock there. Yep, and then maybe we could go to the main background. So actually I've done one step that's technically incorrect from what I was taught to do. So we're going to get rid of this one for a minute. I'm going to drag and drop the background color in onto, well, it's actually the blue technically. Drop the color into there, and then we try to drop in some of the sunlight onto the ground. I'm not sure what I fancy doing here. This one looks like it needs to be a bit darker, maybe. Just trying to sort of work out how I want to go about laying out the floor design and the lighting. Do I just brighten it up over there? But then that wouldn't make any sense because something's blocking the light into here. So we have to bear that all in mind. Go back a few steps to here. What's up, Cat? Good to see you. I was just saying, you are in our list of YouTube supporters. Where are you? Am I high? Oh no, I was just saying you're 4 months. That was it. Yeah, no, I am right. You're 4 months. So I was just saying that Mark's the first one to just turn over to the bronze level on the YouTube supporters. So you're not far off. You missed this entire process from start to finish, just explaining how to go about doing this. I'm stuck on the groundwork. Sorry, I need to refer back to my other design I made, just for some pointers. Alright, let's just do that. Let's do what I did in the other one. Grab the blue from the sky, chuck it back down into there, create a new layer, clip and mask it. I'm not set on that. That needs to be a different colour. This is what I meant earlier, that I've not tried this palette out yet. So, did you change the screen size resolution to 300 dpi? I had to do that on my iPad. Wait, did you change the screen resolution to 300 dpi? But on the actual iPad? You mean on the canvas? I don't think I changed it on the canvas. No, I didn't. Whatever the default was, to be honest with you. Yeah, so this is the problem with not sort of rehearsing a palette in any way. I like that orange, but then it doesn't make much sense. Does this need to be more of like an orangey yellow in here? No, we don't want to introduce a new colour tone. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to leave it like that for a minute. Kat says, I miss you peeps in my life. Kat, you are so busy at the minute. How is work going with your chores that you're at the minute? What I'm now going to do is introduce some shadows onto these parts here. Grab that layer, soft airbrush, lower the opacity down to maybe 50. Make it nice and small, and start to add in some shadows here. Very, very small. I do ask after you lot, you know. If I don't see you for a couple of weeks, I think it was I mentioned it. Say like, where's Dobby the other week? I mentioned that we hadn't seen her in a little while. I know obviously she's in the chat tonight, but you know, I do ask about you guys when you're not here. Who's horrible? Horrible. It would be worth it. Oh, sorry, work's horrible. You meant me? Jesus. It'd be worth it eventually, but not great right now. Eesh. Hopefully it gets better soon. What I'm going to introduce now is I'm going to go back down to the ground level and start to adjust some of this work down here. Now, what we need to maybe do is introduce some... No, what I know I need to do is actually go back to this step here. And let's switch out to this beautiful brush here. Let's try and adjust this. Let's try and give something a bit more focus in here. Now I did this in the other one, so I'm kind of not cheating, but like I'm kind of following something I've already done. We're kind of drawing in some sort of pathway here. So right in the center, I'm just going to fill in this space here as if it's like a path in between this scene. I'm going to start erasing parts of the layer in a second as well. Try and change up some of these colors now. This one here, which layer is it? Is it this one? This one here is looking a bit too strong. I'm gonna tone that down. That gives us the color tones we need. It's looking beautiful. Is this a draw along with me? It is not. It is not. I can't tell if that's a joke or not. This is just me sort of. I was trying to sort of from the start explain maybe a sort of different process. And something I'm going to start to try and implement in my own content to help better sort of the process and just the overall learning process. Like that, to be honest with you, that going back and refining steps is perfectly acceptable. You do not, and I don't, you know, as the actual, I guess, the content creator, I do not do this perfect first time ever. I mean, most of you know that anyway. I just want people to know, like, it's not wrong if you go back and redo something, and I want it to be a far more comfortable process, that it is part of the process. Like I want it to be more known that, you know, in my tutorials going forward, that it very much is acceptable to do so. You're not doing anything wrong by going back. And I was also explaining the process sort of from the start of this sort of style and the things I've picked up from doing it. I was already doing quite a lot, which was actually really sort of refining for me. Like, not refining. Nice to know, and quite, you know, reinforcing that I was already doing a lot of these things in terms of majority of the time, your items in the background needs to be a lot lighter. Like as you get further back, they start to disappear. So, you know, just trying to, you know, make sure I still understand my own processes and make sure I'm still doing a good enough job for all you beautiful people. I'm a bit all over the place with my words tonight. Yeah, I did ask the question. I said, did you want this as a tutorial in the future? Sort of this kind of ish style. It got some good responses, shall we say. So we'll definitely do it potentially in the future. Kind of a tutorial where I don't want to sort of be confined by time. I just want to crack on. If I started writing it in caps. Claire says, Joel, guys, I gotta love you and leave you all. Try and give my neck some rest. Look forward to doing this one though, Charles. You might have a little bit of a wait, but thank you for being in here. I appreciate you being here as always. Hope your neck gets better. What I also want to now do is actually, I want to revisit these little peaks on these bits here, because what I feel we could do is, again, yes, something's blocking that big hillside, but maybe it's not blocking these. So maybe what I can do is actually go back to this layer, mask it, and just erase parts of this, leaving like a bit of a brighter peak on the top of these. Oh, yeah. That's the ticket. Some of the, oh, just look at that. Just look how they're just kissing the light. Beautiful. Okay, what else? Let's work on the sky. Let's go right back to the background. Let's go down to the sky level. Let's start introducing some more lighter tones in there. So let's switch this out to a whiter color. Yep. Let's just continue on the same brush, I guess. Make it nice and big. Make it nice and bouncy to start with. Into big blocks. Again, adding in big blocks of color. And then line of motion, everything's sort of flicking this way. So just start blocking in some color. Something like that. It's nice and dynamic. Nice and sort of a lot of movement in there. Grab the eraser. And again, earlier on I mentioned that if that's the angle I've gone with all the lines, just sort of rotate your line now and then cut into it. Because what you'll end up doing is you'll end up creating some really lovely shapes that have got a nice tapered look on them. Just erasing. I've done it on the wrong layer. Right, ignore me, sorry. I don't usually do these sorts of drawings. You know, for people to watch. This is my first ever live stream. Let's do that again. Let's create the second layer I needed to create. There you go. Right, let's do that again. So what you should do is nice big blocks of colour. You know, as if you'd done this first time. Nice big blocks. There you go, big blocks in there, some nice lines, block that in, something like that. Grab your eraser and then start cutting through all this line work. You end up creating some beautiful wispy lines in here. Cut away at some of these. That's what we end up. See what I mean? You go from this on the left hand side, so nice big blocks of colour, and then you go over to here, and we've got these beautiful sort of wispy lines in the sky. So lots of movement with the lines in there, and then we just continue to do it again. So just cut into all of these. Some of these you can just chop away into, the ones that are just sitting behind. If you leave little blocks of colour. Don't always have to do like long swooping lines, but they're great for, you know, nice directional bits of items in the sky there, you know, cloud work. You can leave nice little blocks or even cut stuff out, so you leave little blocks. Lovely. What if we got into here maybe? Bold with the cutouts. It's pretty good, pretty happy with that. Cool, we've got some really nice cloud work in there. That's sweet. I think what we also need to do is change these hills here as well, so mask that. Now again, I'm still learning the process of this myself and like taking what I've learned and put it into designs and styles. So when I come to eventually do this, the process will be really sort of more refined, and we'll make sure we go from A to B a lot clearer. Dobby says, I'm sorry, I went MIA. I need to hop off for work, even though my work day is supposed to be over now. Ooh, dang it. Dobby, I appreciate you being in here. Thanks for helping us out with the moderation. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't work too hard. Cool. I think we're getting there, you know. I think on the groundwork maybe we go ahead in here, add in some new content. Let's go in here and add in some let's add in some new content. Let's make some rocks in here. And then just grab the eraser for the same brush and just, oh, not that much. We want to leave a bit of the rock. There we go. Lovely. Take care, Dobby. How's everybody doing? Has anybody started if you're a patron, have you started the new mountain tutorial that came out yesterday? If you've seen it, what do you think? Are you yet to sign up? Is it something you're thinking of doing? Do you have any questions for me? Is there anything I can advise you on? Help you out with? And Jay says, yeah, it's so different drawing on your own and then following a tutorial. It's easier following the tutorial. Yeah, for sure. I guess it's kind of like a bit of an eye-opener, like how much did you actually take in? You know, I guess, was I listening? Or, you know, for anybody else doing a tutorial, you know, did you listen to the steps, or were you just sort of in a following along mood instead? Should we maybe go in here and add some blades of grass, maybe? I'm going to go to... Very small detail in there. Lots of blades up and down, and then grab the eraser and then cut straight through that. Grab the eraser, cut straight through that. Nice little bit of extra sort of vegetation on the ground, maybe. Can maybe drop some greens into there in a second. Oh, gotta be careful, we're on the same layout. It's coming together quite a bit. And then Milo says, I'll do it on my day off with a few others, including the Doodle Challenge. Ah, perfect. Okay, so then we go ahead and we want to add in like a character of some sort. Now, add in a character. Actually, first of all, let's alpha lock that. And let's grab the darker tone up here. And maybe fill those in. And then grab the lighter tone. And then soft brush that. So that the ones in the background are a bit lighter. The ones closer to us are a bit darker. And if we add a character, it completely changes the whole dynamic of the scale of all of this entire design. Now, let's just do what I typically do, which is Cooper. So let's try and first of all, let's actually just grab a Cooper stamp. I think I already have one very close. You've not even seen this stamp yet, actually. Let's go here, create a new layout. If we drop I know Cooper's the wrong perspective. If we grab him and just sort of scale him right down, and then pretty much grab black, alpha lock, and fill him in. You know, if I make him really small, like here, you get an idea for the scale of this entire scene. Do you know what I mean? Credit to Milo though. I love seeing everybody complete the Doodle Challenge, because somebody, it was Arturus, created it this week with a Connect 4 design. It was so sick. It's just like really cool to see people's like just creativity in terms of what they see when they see that type of design. I've actually created somebody with a hood there, which is not what I planned on doing. So let's just create like a cape off of this person instead. And also erase some of these lines because they're a bit naff. which one was I using here? Middle one. Where's the middle? Something very basic, but dropping somebody in there really, really small just means that you get so much more perspective for how big this scene is, and then maybe you actually like grab some of the lighter color and only very tiny detailing, so you don't want to spend too much on it. On the arm, on the front of the arm, maybe where the cape starts to drape around the back, something like that, down the front of the leg. Now this highlight color is a bit too bright, to be honest with you. But doing something like that, and then lowering that opacity down a smidge, and then creating a shadow off of that as well. Beautiful, beautiful. That's fun. That's cool. Oh, what's happened here? Is there a cut in the ground? What layer is that? Is that the ground layer? Surely not. No, something's laid on the top of it. And then I would imagine it's this one here as well. Yeah, there it is. That's nicer. That's adding in a lot of brighter tones in the ground there. Now at this point, there's somebody else there with a lovely little link again. You can get banned as well. Good for you. Why is this not working? Oh, we're losing connection for a minute. Are we still here? I think we are. I think we're still here. Now, just people like those stupid accounts above, if you can try and eliminate a few of them, stops them from posting all that. Those annoying links. The, where is it? Vun.rent or whatever it is. Oh no, that's not it. That's it. 2 seconds. Flipping it. It's the wrong side, Joel. That's why I keep flicking the wrong side of my head. Right. Where's that person gone? Where's that person gone? Okay, cool. We're back. So yeah, what else have we got to add in? Some some really cool brushes in here in this set anyway, of adding in little elements just to really emphasize the rest of the design. So in here, there's a brush set for the birds, but I'm going to find some other ones. Again, I'm going to find collections that we can all use. These birds are beautiful. I'll pop these birds down here, maybe scale them down a little bit. They just really add a little something to the design for me. And this is also something that's really cool. We grab, say, like the darkest tone. We grab dust, and we create some big shapes in here, and then just motion blur them, or even perspective blur them. And that what that does is that just adds like lots of floating elements in the design, like up and in front of you, so that you end up creating some really cool floating content in there. Let's go down to the background layers. And then it looks as if there's wind. Now, you might not be able to see that too much, but if I zoom in, you can see all these little particles now. Zoom right in again, you can see all of these. And that just helps show that there's some movement in there, some wind in there. Now, what I think I'm going to just try and experiment with here is, do I grab this here? So this little bit of area down here with the mist, and then maybe just like force it upwards a little bit. If I force that up and then push that down, can we create like a big sort of swooping bit of, like mist, fog, little atmosphere? If I push that right up, obviously it makes no sense to do it that high, so let's just bring that down. Just adjusting that a little bit. Let's push that down on that side. That looks pretty sweet. Pretty happy with that. What we can also do is we could emphasize some darker parts of this as well. So we go in here, pick a slightly darker tone. That can be our shadow color, and we create another new layer and basically sort of reverse the highlights. So do the opposite side. You should have an option to buy your brushes. You create, like Flo does. She sells their brushes. So my brushes, so to give you an idea, Jay, I do have plans in the future to create a lot of brushes. And I think I said this on last week's stream. I know with my Photoshop background, I have the ability to create some pretty sweet brushes. At the minute, it's just time. And, I actually had this conversation with another patron the other day that she was asking, how long does it take to do these videos, and what goes into it? And do you I remember her comment specifically being like, not being offended. I wasn't offended at all, but do you do real work as well? I said, yeah, I have to work a real job at the same time. So at the minute, it's just as soon as I get some time to really sort of narrow down and focus down on what I'm going to create, I've got some pretty sweet ideas, and I know I can. Let's put it this way. Based on what I know I can create in Photoshop, I could make brushes that would compete with the biggest content creators in the space. I'm not going to lie. Because they're all very easily replicatable if you know what you're doing. My day job does include pretty much all that's required to create a set brush. So, set of brushes, so to say. So I'm just going in here now and just adding in some darker tones, seeing if we can just add some more dynamic sort of look to this section here at the top, just to flush that out a little bit more, make it a bit more brighter. And then what you can do is you can actually sort of paint with, what should we do? Let's duplicate it first, turn it off, and then paint within the actual area here. Let's create more of a yellowy tone. You can then go into your highlights and like brush in some extra colors. So this is where you get really into the nitty gritty of your highlights, but painting in some other tones of colour. Now, it can go hit or miss quite easily. I'm not convinced on that colour. So again, we're going to refine as we go. Grab the colour, maybe desaturate it a little bit, make it brighter. And then paint that in alongside some of these. Now, we're adding detail in here. We're not trying to fill out the whole section again. Just in certain areas, the really bright areas up here, maybe add in some nice brighter tones. Oh, it is very laggy actually. It's just caught up again a little bit. Can you not hear me? Drop us a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Is it lagging, is it? I've not had any warnings to say the connection's completely dropped out at all. Nah, nothing. I'm going to fix that though, maybe this weekend. I'll get like a new router or something, sort that all out. Oh, okay, that's the only thing I've done there. I need to then paint on top of those to get rid of it, because I can't erase it. I create a lot of stamps as well, to be fair, and you know, they're just fit for purpose a lot of the time, you know, only for specific tutorials here and there, but I really would like to get into creating some beautiful brushes maybe. Oh, that colour's actually better than the first colour. Let's do that. It's like a little bit dull, but not, if that makes sense. I like that. Let's just keep iterating the colour. Let's see if we can find a colour that I like the look of a little bit more. What does this one look like? Is this way too bright? If I was to paint in some big areas of quite bright streaks up there. I'm not opposed to that, you know. I'm not opposed to that at all. Fade sometimes. Oh, potentially. Shall I move it a bit closer to my face? Should I move it to here? Can you hear me now? Nice and clear. Sometimes it's me, guys, to be honest with you, just mumbling rather than speaking up. Now they kind of add a lot more sort of big dynamic range to it. You can hear us. Perfect. I think I like these extra highlights, and I think I'm going to very lightly paint in some like all over the place, even though these areas down here are not very seen. I think if we just paint in some variation in the colors, could look really cool. Just adds in a brighter edge on those. I think that looks really striking now. And Simon Harris, hey Joe, just joined. Voice is fine for me, but jerky visual. Yeah, I think that's my Wi-Fi, mate, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's my Wi-Fi. And Elizabeth says, I love watching your process, but I'm feeling saturated. Going now, but I'll be back. Thanks. It's great to have you in here, Elizabeth. Hopefully maybe see you in the Discord as well. Do these every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, so make sure to pop back in and say hello. By this, I mean the live streams. And if that's better now, that's good. I'll leave it where it is then in future. Okay, now I'm just going in and adding little extra refinements here and there. I think I'm happy. I think I'm happy. But again, at any point, let's just do something drastic, okay? At any point, you could literally just go in and say, this mountain here at the front,
well, I don't want it to just run up and out of the screen. So then you just come in, start deleting, and change the shape, and then just go in and make changes. Make it into a really striking shape, maybe, you know, maybe down and into here. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to leave it like that. But what you would then do is go ahead and then redo your highlights again. So it's not like I had my glove on earlier on. Why did I take it off? Why did I take that off? Oh, it's another person though. It's really annoying. And Leanne says, will this tutorial be posted? This one, not yet. I'm still working on building this, not building the style, but learning the style. So once I'm happy with it, to a point where I feel like I'm comfortable with it, then I can try and explain it. But the style itself is it's inspired by another artist, to be fair, the style itself, whose course I took up. So I can probably grab a link to that as well. But this will, once I've got comfortable with it, as well as then started to find replacements for all the brushes that I can then use for all you guys, we'll come up with something really cool. But it'll probably be on Patreon. It won't be on YouTube because it's too long of a process. It just won't do very well. But in the future on YouTube, I am going to start pushing the boat out with some other stuff. Like, for example, so kind of similar to this style. Let me just switch the camera around for 2 seconds because there's a couple of things you can't see just yet because they are upcoming tutorials. But, you know, let's take a look at, say... So this one's a very simple sort of version of it. You know, a singular mountain. This one had like the Northern Lights. I just chucked the Northern Lights in as an idea. I didn't really bother sort of sitting down and making them look, you know, pixel perfect to the actual style. It was just to try and get an idea for like a night lighting. You still show your highlighted side and then maybe some brighter highlights, but just like quite a dull highlight. If I go back out here and we go to, say, you know, I'll happily do, say, this one. So it's got more of an oil paint style to it than that other brush. That was a pretty fun tutorial, this one. Not a tutorial, this style. So maybe we'll come up with, I can put some of these on YouTube pretty soon. Only thing is, I'm treading quite carefully. I obviously want to make sure that it fits everywhere nicely. In terms of, I don't want to sort of overlap with Patreon too much to the point where people think, well, what's the point of me even subscribing to Patreon if you're just going to end up chucking these videos over on YouTube? So, that sort of thing. Jenny, oh, we got Jenny here as well. I'm a little late, sorry. Looking good. Shame I missed most of it. You can always rewatch the live streams back. You can actually rewind a live stream right now if you wanted to. You can go all the way back to the beginning. But I explained the process as we go and the building up of the layers in grayscale first now. Building up your design, do you like the look of it and stuff, and then going from there and doing another one. Then move into, sorry, going from there and then going into colours, refinement, then atmosphere, and then little things like that. I wouldn't be comfortable with the glove. Jay, trust me, the first time you wear it, you're like, this feels strange. But the feeling of it on the glass, on the screen protector, is just so like, sweet. Yeah, it's a really nice. It is a really nice glove. I'm very pleased with it. And Hilary says, I enjoy watching your work in progress as I type emails over here. I think I'm always typically, because of the time that a lot of my audience is like stateside, I guess. People see it along with like working at the same time. Whereas I've been saying before, I've been maybe threatening it a little bit that one day I'd like to potentially do a late night stream. So it'd be late night for me, because late night for me is like, you know, say, I think I said maybe it would start at midnight here till 3 in the morning, which for you guys would be like a 5-hour difference. I think it is, isn't it, in the States? 5 to 6 hours, something like that, depending on where you are. So that's like peak time for you, like evening time, like perfect. But for me, it'll be very late. Like there'd be a lot of caffeine. But something like that would be pretty cool to do in the future for you guys. There was another one I think I did as well. It was this one here. So this one had like a kind of sunset vibe, I guess. Sort of more sepia look to it. Sepia, something like that. That was a different look. Cat says it gives you Mandalorian vibes. The color scheme's very close, Simon, to the iPhone wallpapers. The ones that they've done, like the quite geometric, not geometric, but very beautiful illustrations for the iPad wallpapers. MJ style with the glove, for real. I like I said, when I first got it, I put it on. I was like, I'm not sure I'm ever going to use this, but I do try to use it in all of my videos. And the grip. I always thought that the grip. It feels weird to hold the pen without the grip now. And Kat says, "You do such a great job. I have trouble with other tutorials." I know you do. I appreciate your comment earlier on Patreon. There are times when, now I'm not saying I am the sheesh. I am the sheep. But the only thing, okay, you get wrapped up in your own style of doing things, and when you see somebody else do something different, you're like, well, this just doesn't feel right. And I've watched tutorials recently where I'm like, I wish they would do X, Y, and Z and tell me more. Like, what are you actually doing? Like, how have you gone and done this? So, and Elizabeth just became a patron. Hit the air horns. I think that's a whole year, isn't it? She just became a patron for. Elizabeth, are you still here? Are you still here? Are you just hiding in the shadows for a minute? If you are, love, thank you for becoming a patron. Welcome to the family. I think that's a whole year, isn't it? Sorry, let me catch up with what you were saying here. Oh yeah, sorry, I was saying like, oh yeah, I just want to explain a bit more, like little bits and bobs here. So I try to make sure that I try to explain as much as possible. Now maybe some people think, oh, he's just repeating himself, you don't need to tell me you're doing this and that, but for some people you do, because they're brand new to all of this. So I'd rather say everything I possibly can in a tutorial, now create a new layer, now double tap in the top left hand corner to select white and double tap at the bottom to select black. You'll know that by now because you've been following my tutorials. But for somebody else, I remember the first time I saw that and I was like, what? You can double tap in the top left hand corner to select white, like a perfect white. This is crazy. So, just very quickly, Elizabeth is still here. Elizabeth, thank you for becoming a patron over there for a whole year, I believe, as well. So I appreciate your support and welcome to the family. I think you may have missed your little pop up on the screen there a second ago. If you didn't, otherwise you would have seen it pop up. Welcome to the family. You should get an email shortly with lots of little details in there on how you can find all your benefits. And if you have any questions, just drop me a message on there, or otherwise on Discord. You can add me as a friend on Discord and drop me a message at any time you like. Otherwise, all the patrons will be happy to help you out otherwise. And time-wise, you mentioned there, Hilary, yeah, but you're a night owl. I totally tune in. It would be cool to do a really late one. I'd be knackered, but it would be cool just to do that for you guys and see what the audience would be like doing that, because I know a lot of like gaming content creators over here, they end up they work really late in terms of our time because that's when the American time is on. And like it depends on your audience. If my audience was say more the other side of the globe, and like say like most of my audience was say from India, then I would get on earlier than when I'm on, so that I'm on for their evening time. Do you know what I mean? So like, because my audience is a little bit more stateside more than anything, I think it would be pretty cool at some point to do like a really late stream for you guys, so we can all hang out in the evenings. And then looking at the times there, never eat. So you're what's that, East Coast? Yeah, obviously. So it's 10 to 6. So you're 5 hours, yeah. Jenny says it's 3:50 on the west. So yeah, if I did a midnight, you're looking at a difference of 5 hours to 8 hours difference. So midnight for me would work out at, what's that, 4 in the afternoon to 7 in the evening for you guys. Till 3 in the morning maybe. That works out at 10 at night and 7 at night for you guys. Maybe that'd be pretty cool. But it'd have to be planned out. I'd have to have a day off the next day. I'd be done. I have no idea what the content would even look like at that stage. No idea. That'd be all for you. All for you. You love the sepia post on Discord. Thank you. Jay said, I tried to use the pen cover and to take it off and to charge the pen. Oh, I suppose it... Oh, the grip, yeah. I mean, I'm lucky enough I have this whole like workstation here for just drawing on. A whole nother desk, so I just literally pop it beside my Sketchboard Pro and then grab it every time I need it. Every time I start doing another design. Kat says, I guess you could do a piece as your own and it doesn't have to be exactly like theirs. I don't know. Yeah, the only thing I would change is, like, for me doing it, I want to find brushes that are free and that I can continuously use, or otherwise just create my own based on a similar sort of formula, but my own versions that I can then make sure I can distribute all the time. And alongside those tutorials. Now, this one here is using the oil brush, and it works out pretty much the same process. It's just it's not got the nice granular look to it that I quite like. So I'll find an alternative otherwise for you guys. Hillary says, I'd kick in for your Red Balls and cat feed. I'm yawning now. Oh, excuse me. Caffeine buzz for the event. I'm on my lunch break right now. I may be the furthest out of time zones by the looks of it. What's your time over there, Hillary? Oh yeah, what, lunch? Midday? Don't get me wrong, I would still do this time. I wouldn't change everything all the time. It would just be like a one-off sort of thing. This is the one that we obviously did on Patreon today. So if you've just become a patron or you're thinking of becoming a patron, this is the tutorial, that went out yesterday over on Patreon. And the rest of them are just here, cycling around in a nice little slideshow for you. I've got a few things that are coming up in March that I can't show you just yet. But in March, the whole way through the month, we are going to be doing Text Tuesday or Thursday, not sure yet. Probably Tuesday. Meaning throughout the whole of month of March, every Tuesday I'll have a very short text effect based tutorial for you. Siri's listening to me. So it's going to be like really cool designs. I'm not going to give any hints away just yet. You'll see the sneak peeks if you're a patron of that tier, as and when they come out. But every Tuesday there'll be an additional tutorial on YouTube for text-based content. That's only for March. I can't keep that up all the time. It's too many videos. That's 3 videos a week throughout the whole month of March. So yeah, let's let me just switch this around so you don't see anything you shouldn't see just yet. Do you know, now I've stepped away from this design and come back to it. Very, very pleased with how that came out. Very pleased. And I actually really like the colour palette in the end. I think it looks pretty cool. Would I change anything? I don't think I would. I'm very pleased with how that came out. Let's just try maybe one thing in here. Where we maybe grab... trying some variation in the light on the ground here to create some different variations on the light. I don't think I'd want to change anything. Maybe just the lightest coat of color everywhere, maybe. I quite like its dynamic sort of dark look to it. Oh, I know what's missing. I just remembered. we've missed atmosphere from another atmosphere step. So we've got these hills here right in front of us. That's what's missing. We're meant to add a little bit of a glow in behind here as well, just the same as these have got glows in behind all of them. So I need to get the correct color first of all, which is like a pinch from these colors here. And then just add in a little bit of atmosphere in front of these as well. And then let's jump straight to the eraser. Let's grab the clouds brush. And let's just chop into all of these. That's much better. Much better. I'm late. Liberty back in 15 minutes. Wait, you're going to be back in 15 minutes? Damn. She is taking the mick. That's it. That's it. That's all we need to do. Now, I'm not going to, like I mentioned before, I'll be brutally honest, like I mentioned before, that I've done a course. And for one time, I will give you the link to it. Now, like I said, I always want to better my skills and do better for you guys in the long run. And I want to leave a quick link. I'm just going to grab the link for you to the course that I did from another creator who I found on Instagram. Did his course and then learned a lot about sort of the fundamentals of it. Now, there's lots of things that I've already teach you guys now, but it's more about the style and how they go about doing things, and just refining what I was already doing to create more of a more polished design, I would say. Oh, the connection's very bad. Okay, let's get rid of that for 2 seconds, and let's go to here. Let's go to. So I'm about to drop the link in the chat. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So I just dropped the link in the chat to the course that I did. So if you're interested in going and doing the same one that I did from a fantastic creator called Philip, go and check that out. Like I said, I just want to do things that are going to better my skills so that I can do better in my own designs, pick up little things here and there and do better so that I can do better for everybody else as well. But please, if you get some time to check it out, I'm not sure if it's on offer anymore, but it was. Check out the course from Philip, fantastic creator, or just go and check out his Instagram. Brilliant work, and you'll get an idea of where I got the inspiration from. And obviously, this is actually using his brush set as well, like full disclosure, so that you get with the tutorial, which is hence why I'm saying I can't distribute it, and I won't. So we'll find some alternatives from the possibilities that we have. But yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. You may pick up little bits here and there. You will notice the differences though in my tutorials in comparison to that. You'll notice that there are little bits and bobs here that I would explain, but maybe not. But if you're not, I don't know, he doesn't do what I do all the time, so it's a different process. But fantastic eyes, and great to hear it from another professional as well. Well, I say another professional, I'm not really, but from a professional who's does this all the time. What's the time? 11. What is the time? It's 11. Do I stick on for a little bit longer? Do I stick on for a little bit longer? That is the question. That is a good point, Milo. He does use Photoshop as well. So, Mike, you still here? Is Mike still here, guys? Mike, if you're still here, just say hello in chat. if you are here, Mike, I just want to thank you for becoming a patron. I've just seen it in my list. I don't know what time that maybe came through or whatnot, but if you are still here, thank you for joining the family. But yeah, sorry. Philip uses Photoshop and a Wacom tablet, and I obviously use Procreate, so there's always going to be things that cross over anyway, like from all these different styles, loads of different things like that. So we can just teach our specific audiences. Now, there is little refinements I do want to do. Let me move my mic so you can. Is that in the way? Can you hear me? Just little refinements I want to do to these in the background. Notice where there's like gaps like here. The cool thing to do, or a little just minor thing you can do, is like cut into here and then go up from there. That's better. That creates some nice detail. Like here, I can get away with maybe creating a bit more of a groove here, and then let that run up onto there, and then maybe even into there. Also, like, again, full disclosure, like, I have shared Philip's work before in the Discord and stuff, so I just don't want to hide behind his art style. Is 21 Draw free? It's not. It's not free. His course cost me $25 at the time. It used to be, I think it was on offer at the time, for $25. I think it's normally $50. That's the link say. I can't even see how much it is, actually, to be honest with you. Cool. Just little refinements there can help make those edges look a lot better. I can actually get rid of this one as well. It doesn't make any sense why there would be a bit of a shadow on that edge. Cool. Very, very pleased with that. To be cracking on with that. I use Photoshop every day, like for my actual work. 2 seconds, let me switch you around. Do I do another drawing, or do I show you something I've been working on and let you give your opinion? Maybe I'll finish this one off, but I never liked it. Straight away, I want your impressions of this one. Because I don't like it. I just don't know what it is. I just don't like it. I mean, it's not finished either. Like, there's meant to be... did I even draw in the pause? No, I didn't. So I created a stencil. And I'm going to do the pause in the front. I think it's cute. I just don't know what I didn't like about it. I don't know why. I'm going to finish it. See if it's maybe something I can use as content. But I wasn't in love with it, and I don't know why. And I think maybe it's just because, I mean, certain things appeal to different people as well. It is different. Like, so my idea was it was going to do this. So it was going to kind of like the elf one that I did over Christmas. You know, a lion, or tiger, sorry. poking its head just up and over some sort of ledge here. Very quickly, if I was to create a new layer, grab like a dark color, whatever, and brush it. Maybe I would just put like a little shadow under here, and then push that shadow to the right hand side. Same here, and then just push that to the right hand side, and then little shadow underneath the neck. I'm going to move this into position in a second. Drag that all the way down underneath there, and something like that. I'm not too sure. That elf there in the bottom left hand corner right now, that's what I was thinking of going for. Let's go. If I turn the stencil off. You like it better with the pause. I think the pause is cool. Like, we'd add some, like, obviously 3D bits in there to make it sit in front and actually separate the pause and detail them. It's just a bit like, I don't know. It would be good for YouTube. Like, 2 secs. I hate doing this to you and switching it around, but these days, like with the sneak peeks and stuff, I want to make sure that. Oh, just in case nobody saw this is the other version. This is the first version I did of my own based on that course. So this was, I don't know if I showed you this. This was my first crack at it. So a much more dramatic scene with like the slanted rock face. Down here, we've got another person in like a cloak, I guess. Like that. And zooming out. I can zoom around the design if you like. We can take a look at the rock work there. How cool with the slanted rock. I'm going to keep practicing because I want to start also doing some very dramatic scenes in terms of not just pointing upwards. Maybe we'll create some really future other. I tell you what the idea is. I want to do better at creating the more sort of crazy landscapes, because then this isn't what I would deem as crazy. I mean crazy is in like big angular rocks or formations that are just not seen on this planet, with the intention that with Cooper I can take them tutorials maybe into that direction as well, because his tutorials tend to be a lot of like landscape work with Cooper. So imagine this, but with Cooper stood down here and in some sort of scene. How cool would that be? If Kat's here, I'm sure she would love that. But that was my first version of doing my own. Just cracking on with it. Right, Julie's back. So guys, it's been a lovely stream. It's been great to see everybody. Are you a fan of Beeple? Beeple. What is that? What's Beeple? Let's have a look. Am I going to search something crazy here and it's going to... You love the tiger? Wait. Am I lagging? Am I miles behind? Oh, Beeple. Yeah, he's the guy that sold the NFT stuff, right? I can't see his... Oh, hang on, let me jump to his Instagram. Sorry, let me jump to his Instagram. What I need to do is I need to set you guys up where I can flick the screens around and then show you what it is I'm looking at on the screen. I've been thinking about this for a little while, and I'm thinking. So my workstation here set up into 2 desks. I have this desk here, so it's an L shape. I've got this desk here for drawing on, creating content and stuff, and then my actual desk is off to the right hand side. Now I'm thinking of getting another camera and put in another angle over here so that I can flick between the two and jump to the my computer, so I can show you what it is I'm looking at. So I will try and bear that in mind. going forward. I think it'll make life a lot easier and create more of a cool streaming setup. The problem is, right now I use that camera you're looking at me on is an old phone, but it's so much better than a webcam. Like the webcam quality you get is dreadful. And then obviously I've got my actual phone, so maybe I grab like an old Android or something, or maybe an old iPhone if I want to get that same level of quality for the other side. I do have a webcam, but it's not very good, so I think it'll be better in the future. I'm not using what webcam was I using? What, the bad one, or what am I using here? People's work looks pretty sick. I'm only looking at the first 9. It looks pretty cool. Very crazy. Oh, the bad one. Oh, the bad one. This webcam is a Sandstorm webcam. This thing. And like, you just can't control the exposure, you can't control any of that stuff. White balance, all that sort of stuff. So I know you use the Logitech, what was it, the face cams? Maybe I could get another one. Stick it over there. But I'm going to be brutally honest. I think creation-wise, I'm a bit done today. I'm getting to the point where I really am getting a little bit burnt out, but I'm slowly getting it back. So I don't think I've got the mental capacity today to get another drawing in. I'll answer any questions anybody has, or maybe about me, or any questions about Procreate that maybe somebody wants me to answer. Oh, you want to see the tiger? 2 secs. Which tiger? This tiger or my tiger? I try not to be too hard on myself. I mean, I'm so pleased with that design that happened tonight, and I've got the colour palettes. In the future, I could maybe use something with it. But yeah, I guess I am a bit critical sometimes. I'm just trying to make sure I don't want to get burnt out to the point where I take an actual break from anything, because I want to just keep cracking on. I don't want to stop at all. I think I know what the difference is at the minute. Like, end of last year, I wasn't going to the gym very much. So at the minute, going back to the gym now properly, back in the full routine of things, I think that's also aiding my sort of mental fatigue a little bit. But it's in a good way. Like, I feel good. So I think that's definitely a factor right now, while I maybe feel maybe a little bit burnt out, but not so much creativity wise. Although, you know, I really want to do a tutorial like that other style that I did, of you know, showing you what I drew today. But that's going to come in a bit of time. So for now, I'm trying to think, well, hang on, I've been working on this the whole time. And now I need to think about content for the rest of the month. But
Do you remember that pagoda design I did last week? That's gonna be a tutorial on YouTube next Friday. But as for Patreon next month, I've not got much planned just yet. That's why I was asking everybody if there's anything in particular they would like me to see or do. And Julie says, if you want to show me another tiger, then go for it. Not today. It'll be on my OnlyFans. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Relax. But Milo says, just breathe, Joel, and go to the gym and go to the beach. I love the beach. I love where I live in the world. We have beaches everywhere. Sea right next to the sea all the time. And yeah, it's good. I'm trying to get back into it. Like, a lot of stuff happened, obviously, if you are aware. Lots of stuff that happened with me towards the end of the year last year. Also had some shoulder pain as well, which was causing me a lot of sort of frustration and made me stop doing things. But it's good to get back into it. I'm very pleased to get back into it. I got. Don't ever click those links as well that go in there from those stupid accounts. Matt and Scene is lovely, thank you. And the late night session. Yeah, I know. I'll do a late night one, but I'd have to have a few hours kip my side first and then build up to it. Julie says, I don't know why he keeps saying his OnlyFans doesn't exist. It does. It's difficult. It was difficult getting all the pics for it, but I managed have it. It was difficult getting all the pics for it, but I managed have at it, peeps. All right, it's just you being Scottish there in text, isn't it? Right, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to wrap it up. Guys, you've been wonderful. If you've been here from the start, I appreciate you being here, hanging out with me, you watching me try and draw. Keeping out for the weekend. Friday's tutorial is a design that I've posted on my Instagram recently that I asked people, did they want it as a tutorial? If you know what that is, you can go back and check, take a look. Kind of get an idea for what's coming on Friday. We're done for Patreon tutorials this month, so no new designs coming over there, but there'll be lots of sneak peeks towards the end of the month if you are that supporter and above for that. Please post as much as you can in the Discord if you are a member. I want to really get that back to a full swing and get loads of people involved. We've got nearly 300 people in there now, so I really want to get that push in. So if you can, if you have the facilities to do so, or got some images or designs that you want to share in there, please just chuck them in. I'd love to see all of them, and the doodle challenge, obviously. Just taking a second, I really do appreciate everyone being here. Last few weeks have been a bit sort of, I don't know, there's been stages in the streams towards the end where maybe it's just died down quite a bit. Got very quiet in terms of people viewers and stuff, which is fine, but I really do appreciate the people that are here all the time, watching us, supporting us in the chat, constantly having a chat with me and each other. If you're not here, I'm not here. I know I say it every week, but it's true. So you keep this going, and I will not let you down, and I'll still be here. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your morning, your evening, or have a lovely night's sleep wherever you are in the world. I'll be live again. Oh, am I live next Wednesday? No, I am. I'll be live again next Wednesday. For everything else, catch me on the socials, and I'll see you next week.